My name's Katie, or Katie Jo, whichever. Today I wanted to do a video that talks about bullying. It will specifically be about face-to-face bullying and bullying in school. Although there's many different ways that bullying can happen, and it can be at any age, a lot of different avenues, but those are the main ones I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about my story of bullying, what grades it was in, how it started, also maybe why those things happen. There's no real good answers, but there's ways that you can get help and hopefully how to alleviate some of the bullying if you're still in school. Some of the tactics also help adults with bullying as well. So basically, thinking back about bullying didn't really start for me until somewhere around 5th grade. And to give you a quick backstory, I grew up in a normal, middle-class, nice area. I went to a regular public school and had a pretty happy upbringing. I had 3 other siblings, all older than me. I had one brother who went to school with me but was a few years older. Good, hardworking parents. And everything was going pretty good till then. In summer before my 5th grade year, unfortunately I had broken my arm on a ride at the fairgrounds, and so that was no fun. I had a big cast on my arm for a large portion of the beginning of 5th grade. I also decided that I didn't want my long hair anymore, and so while my mother was walking through the mall, I decided to have my hair chopped and cut it up to here. And it was in really awesome 1980s feathered hairdo. And it looked cute when I did it, but unfortunately not so much when I went back to school. And I had to wear this really big 80s awesome plastic frame eyeglasses to be able to see the board that year. And yeah, so 5th grade started out that way. Every year, I remember we would do a talent segment that could be part of one of our show and tell, and so I would dance for my class once a year because I started dancing when I was about 3. And I remember doing the dance for our class. And normally the kids and teachers and everybody were supportive. This time it was kind of the same way, except there was one girl who I remember who was successful at dance, but she did like totally different dance style than I did. And when I came out, she was kind of like, "Oh, good job," and it was just in a really not nice way. It was kind of like she was saying, "Ooh, that was awful." And I remember thinking, but I've been working so hard and I do this every week, like, I couldn't have been that bad, could I? And I remember, so the bullying was kind of, my particular case, this isn't the way for everybody, but it was kind of 50-50. So accidents or situations with teachers, but then also with kids as well. So I remember at one point in 5th grade, I had made a watercolor painting with a little bit of acrylics on a poster board for my brother and his new wife. And I remember our teacher was really upset because there was some misunderstanding. We were supposed to be doing something else than coloring as a class, and he was just really frustrated, and to prove a point, he took my poster and like folded it in half and squished all of the lettering and artwork together so it wasn't really visible anymore. And I remember, and he did it in front of the whole class. I remember he felt bad, but it was like it had already been done. So that happened, and I just remember like crazy rumors, not just about me, but about other people, and just lots of stuff. And at the end of my 5th grade year, we had a recital where my mom used to go to all of them every year. And this particular year, unfortunately, she was in the hospital, which now she's doing great, but she was not able to attend that spring. And I had gotten a dance part where I played a mouse for Cinderella, because it was a Disney theme, and we had like these aprons that were like halfway down, and then we had like the little top with the mouse nose. And I remember doing my little Cinderella song performance, and we were coming off the stage on the right hand side where the boys were, and there was a few boys that were like patting their legs and going, "Waiter, waiter, waiter." And I was just already super sensitive from, you know, the unfortunate situation. And then to have that, it was just like, so if you're a kid, just remember you don't always know everything that's happening with another kid or what's going on in their life. So, you know, just try to be kind. And then 6th grade, there's a few things, but it pretty much went off with not very memorable things until I went to junior high. So I went to junior high for our school. Junior high started in 7th grade. And it was a pretty good school. I remember I had a pretty good success rate in academics and just fun. So I was excited for junior high. It went pretty good. My 7th grade year, a lot of that was I had an older brother, and he was in 9th grade. So he went to the same junior high. So I kind of had this protection, I guess you could say, where he was pretty cool. He played the guitar. He had a few friends. So nobody really bothered me too much except for one particular person. And I'll just, for privacy reasons, say her name was Janet, but it wasn't. And it was kind of normal. I remember she kind of acted different than the other kids that I met towards me, but I couldn't figure out what it was, and I thought I was being nice to her, but it just got a little strange. And pretty soon I started noticing that every time I would go from one classroom to another, even if she didn't have a class in that particular side of the building or the portable that I was going near, she would follow me. And then a couple times she would bring her friends to follow me. And then a couple times she would bring more friends, and she would follow me to the bathroom and follow me to my bus. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I walked into the woodshop class one day, and she was like, "I hate her." I remember thinking, "But you don't know me. How can you hate me if you don't know me?" And I thought I was like, when I would be in my PE class, she would go into the locker room and like take my shorts and put them in somebody else's locker. She would take my shampoo out so when I went to bathe I wouldn't have any. Just all sorts of stuff on an everyday basis. And I tried to ignore it. I didn't know at the time who to go to or what to do. My brother, I kind of talked to him a little bit about it, but he wasn't really understanding kind of like the full capacity of what was happening. And then I remember I was going to pick up my brother because he was waiting for his annual like counseling session to figure out what classes you're going to be in, who had been giving me a hard time since the start of the year. And she looked over at my brother, not knowing that he was my brother, and she says, "I hate that bitch. I want to kill her." And it was at that moment where he thought, okay, something's going on. Thankfully I had the support at home from my parents and my brother to kind of get through that year, but it was the first time I realized that like you can get hated on and no idea why. I didn't know if it was because I was extremely short, because I was different in my PE class. I had had heart surgery as a really young child. I'll do another video about that. But I don't. Also in that year, I had picked up playing the French horn in 5th grade, but I carried it on to 7th and I loved it. Like, I loved the instrument. To this day I still love it, even though I don't really play it. It's super short, and it's, if you've ever seen a French horn, it's kind of large, and the old hard cases are really, really heavy. And I was determined that I was going to learn how to play it, so I drug that thing everywhere. And our bus driver used to have to put it in the storage compartment because it wasn't safe to keep it in the seats or on the inside of the bus. And every time we would hit a speed bump or a hill, it would go clink, 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 clink in the back. Oh, the kids just hated me for it. But I didn't want to give it up, and I really liked it back at that time, so I just kept doing it. So I don't know if it was because I kept doing what I wanted to do and she couldn't affect me or change what I liked or anything. Same with clothes. I had like 1990s kind of skinny jeans that were black, and after gym class, to change my shirt, I put on one of my brother's like Stussy skater shirts, like a skateboarder. And I didn't even think about it because I was just being me, doing me, walking down the sidewalk. And I remember a girl stopping me, and the same girl, in fact, who in 5th grade had given me a hard time about my dance. And she was like, "Oh my God, don't you know that like skater shirts don't go with skinny jeans? Like, you can't do both, and like, if you're gonna be a skater, then you need to like dress like a skater." It's the first time where I was like, but I'm fine. And then 8th grade happened.